rocking with
Ghetto Report.
Ghetto Report.
Ghetto Report.
Ghetto Report.
Ghetto Report Podcast.
Yeah, you already know what it is, man. It's Em Smurf. Shout out to Ghetto Report Podcast, man. You know what it is.
For sure. What's up, Bangum? How you doing?
Man, everything's smooth, man. I can't complain. All the best for the New Year's. Yeah.
Okay, for sure, man. So I'm going to introduce you real quick, man. We got Em Smurf representing Southside Queens. Born in Trinidad, raised in America, put the G&G unit.
That's a fact.
Welcome to the podcast, brother.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. And shout out to Boston Raw for making this happen.
Shout
That's
out
my
to
guy.
Boston Raw for making it happen, man. And shout out to everybody in Boston, man. I got a strong following in Boston. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. We're going to make a classic.
Yeah, for sure. Legendary.
For sure. Okay, so look, we like to start a little bit from the beginning. I know you did a bunch of interviews, but we like to touch from the beginning and go on through, walk us through your whole journey and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, you was born in Trinidad.
Yeah,
what's
1981.
What's some of the early memories of living in Trinidad?
Early memories living in Trinidad. Trinidad was cool back in the days. You know, it was more like dirt roads and stuff like that. We wasn't developed like we was now. But, you know, it's like going to the beach, thinking I'm Tarzan, swinging from tree to tree. I used to like Shaka Zulu a lot, so I used to think I was a warrior and all that. You know, back then it was fun, man. Jungle vibe for me, you were. Going to the beach, you know, things like that. Swimming.
Yeah, for sure. How many siblings you got?
My mother got me and my sister, you heard? But my father got a bunch of other kids. But with my mother, it's just me and my sister. So I grew up with like my sister because I ain't really know my father kids. You dig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You older than your sister?
Nah, she older than me. I'm the baby boy, actually.
Okay, so you didn't know your dad's your
I knew
siblings
my
on your
dad
dad's side?
before I left. I knew my dad before I left Trinidad. My father was a police, but he had a bunch of other kids down here. So, and me and my other siblings that he had, we ain't have no relationship. Yeah,
what
so
about
I knew
now?
my dad before I left for Trinidad. He used to come in and out, you know.
Yeah.
Passed
You got a
away in
relationship
there.
with them now?
Yeah, we cool. You could say that. We cool. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what's some of the things you remember, like besides that, like swinging on trees, being Tarzan and Shaka Zulu and all this other stuff?
My pops let me play with his guns and shit like that.
He let you what?
Play with his guns, like show me how to aim and all that. Yeah, remember he was a police. Yeah. So every time I see him, I used to get excited just to play with his gun. Yeah.
He let you shoot him?
Nah, he ain't never let me shoot. He just used to let me aim it, you know. But he never let me shoot. Nah, he had to take the bullets out. It was revolvers back then, so he'd take the bullets out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, and just watching my granddad work hard because he used to work on the port. He was like the head and the foundation of the family. He made everything happen because my grandmother had like 9 children besides my mother, so my granddad held everything down. So I used to just admire him when I was little, how hard he used to go for the family.
Your granddad?
Yeah, my granddad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is your granddad still with us these days?
My granddad and my grandmom's passed away. But my granny made it to 100 though. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, she made it to 100.
Okay, man. Sorry to hear that. Did they have carnival back then in Trinidad?
I'm not sure. I was little, so I wouldn't remember. I'm pretty sure they did though. Because that was the 80s. I left Trinidad in 88. So I was younger back then.
Yep.
I wouldn't even know about carnival back then. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they did because that's our culture down here. So most likely they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you leave Trinidad in 88.
Yeah.
You go to America.
Yeah.
And who comes? Just your mom and your sister?
Yeah, just me, my mother, and my sister. We landed May
When
28, actually. 88.
You said what?
We landed May 28, 1988.
Okay. So when did you find out you was going to America?
I guess when we was getting on the plane. Because you know when you younger back then, you ain't really paying attention to adult stuff, who going there, where we moving, you dig? So back then as well, for my mother, I was comfortable and cool with that. So wherever she was going, it ain't matter to me.
Yeah.
But that day, I guess that day I was leaving. Yeah. Remember back then, when you were a kid, you ain't really thinking about that. You just know you moving somewhere else, but I ain't know it was like America.
All right, so you come to America in '88.
Yeah.
You land in Brooklyn.
Yeah. East 34, between Snyder and Tilden.
East 34th?
Yeah,
What's that?
between
What part
Snyder
of
and
Brooklyn is
Tilden.
that?
That's like Flatbush.
Flatbush.
Yeah, that's like the bush.
Okay. What was it like at that time in the 80s?
Man, that was like a great experience for me because, you know, I came into a whole nother lifestyle, a whole nother culture. Like, I just came from, like, living in the mountain, in the hills, running through the bush, swinging from tree to tree. So up there, it's just big buildings. Everybody fly. The dress code is, like, different, you know what I mean? It was a dope experience. And I landed in '88, so it was like everybody out there hustling, man. Seeing all the fly cars, the big speakers, the gold chains, yeah.
Yeah, so
that was a dope experience. It was definitely different. I definitely knew I wasn't in Trinidad, you were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you first came here, was it kids picking on you growing up and stuff
In
like
school,
that, or trying to pick on you?
Yeah, when
you had to fight.
Yeah, in school, not like in my area, in my building or none of that, because I had like my big cousins and all that out there. So like in the neighborhood, I was cool. The teasing started in like school and all that. Yeah, I used to get into hella fights, man. I used to whoop their ass, man. Cause remember, I was wild back there. I told you, I used to think I was Tarzan and Shaka Zulu. So I always been on my warrior militant shit. So yeah, I used to get a lot of trouble in school and a lot of fights. I actually got left back in the second grade, the first year attending school because of my behavior and my accent. Yeah, I was bad. Yeah. You know, they thought I was Haitian back then because they ain't really know Trinidadian. So back then it was either you Haitian or Jamaican. So they thought I was Haitian.
Your accent.
Yeah, they thought I was Haitian. Yeah.
Yeah, so you mentioned there was a lot of hustling going on at that time.
Oh, hell yeah. Everybody was hustlers. The females, everybody, man.
You said what?
I said everybody was hustling. The females, everybody back then in the 80s, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At what age did you start hustling?
Me, I started hustling, man. You could say like 7 years old. But it wasn't drugs at first, because you remember hustlers just ways of getting money, all different ways of getting money. It's a hustle. But I started hustling like 7, man. I started packing bags, man. Yeah, I always liked the money. I was always smart. So all from 7 years old, we packing bags in Brooklyn. There was a grocery store around the corner called Associated. Yeah, so all 7. Yeah. But when I really started dealing with drugs is when I moved to Queens, man. I was like 12, 13. That's when I started selling like weed and crack and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. We're gonna get to Queens. Hold on.
But in Brooklyn, my first hustle in Brooklyn was like packing bags and stuff like that in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you was hustling, what did you spend your money on?
Well, when I got older or when I was young?
When you was young, what you was buying at that age? Video games, what?
At that
what
age,
you was trying to buy,
what?
Man?
I was just buying, what I was buying? Snacks and candy and stuff, That's what I was buying with the money. Is when I got to Queens is when I elevated, you dig? But when I used to hustle in Queens, you know how people had all the jewelry or who would have cars and all that? I bought guns with my money, so I had all the guns in the hood, Yeah. When I hustled and when I got old, I just used to hustle for guns. That's it, just guns.
Okay, why was you buying all the guns?
Because you got to think about it, right? You got the hustlers with the cars, you got the hustlers with the jewelry, but they don't got no fucking guns. When shit get popping, they got to run and go look for guns. So I was always the nigga like, well, I'm going to have all the guns. So the niggas with the money, when they got issues, they going to come to me for the guns anyway. So I was always a smart nigga. You dig? So I used to have all the guns in my hood.
Okay, so in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
You was down with the Tiny Toons?
Yeah. The Tiny Toons. Shout out to the Tiny Toons. That's actually when I moved to Flatbush. East 21st and Flatbush.
Okay.
Because before I moved to Queens, I stayed on East 21st and Flatbush with my aunt Sandra, for like 2 to 3 months, and then we moved to Queens. Yeah, so that was East 21st. And the older heads was the Looney Tunes. Shout out to them. And that area is where Little Vicious and them from too. The artist Little Vicious, because he from Ocean Avenue. So that was like around the corner from me. I used to see him and Dougie Fresh all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you knew Lil Vicious?
Nah, I ain't know him personally. I just used to see him. Back then he was a star. He was a celebrity. So you know me, I'm a regular nobody back then. You dig? So yeah, I used to see them.
You seen one of your friends get murdered in Brooklyn?
I'm caught up in this fast life. Every morning night I pray. Gotta make it out some way. Put a smile back on my mama's face.